As you can probably see by the name of this, I want Flight Simulator with a co-pilot, with an air traffic controller I can talk to, and a flight crew. And also want to know how to put my flight plans in the right places so they all work, and they all work together, both in normal and in VR. And if that's what you want to know about, follow this video. It won't be the full of everything, but it will be some basic information on how to get things to work, hopefully correctly off the cuff. So I'm not doing any pre-rehearsal with this. It's actually just doing it live because I believe that's the best way to do it, really. So I'm going to quit that, and you're going to end up with a big blank screen. Okay, my friends, I'm going to go like Control Alt Delete. I'm going to go into my task manager, which you won't see, and in my task manager under the processes, I'm going to get rid of that one there, end that task a minute. I'll leave the other one running because it's already running now, so I can't be bothered to rerun it again, but I can tell you how to do it, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so first and foremost, how do you get something like a voice to be a co-pilot? And I'm going to show you. It's this program that's about to appear on your screen like magic. It's a program called Voice Attack. Now if you look at it, you can see my voice is being picked up by this unit, okay? And this unit will control, to a certain extent, yeah, my aircraft co-pilot, and you can see all the information that it's just listening all the time at what I have to say. And now this becomes a co-pilot. You'll see how you buy the products which are called HCS voice packs, and they give you like different voices. So change voice pack Captain Anderson, if you can understand me. Change voice pack to Captain Williams. Right, change voice pack to Captain Elise. That looks pretty cool. So it's actually sort of doing what it's got to do, which is cool. You can't properly hear me yet though, but the reason being is because I haven't gone into proper VR yet on my headset, because that's where my headset's being heard from. You can press and hold like that, and it gives me my window setup. Okay, let's have a look at that. That looks pretty good to me. Hotkeys, that looks good. General, that was fine. That looks all like it should be working fine. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, whatever. Okay, we're going to go to, initially, we're going to open the other program, Pilot ATC. Open that one quick. Now that will open and load up, which will be good. Change voice pack Captain Williams.
Check.
Did you hear that? She said check. Change voice pack Captain Anderson. That's probably because it's not installed. Change voice pack Captain Anderson. Right, okay, that's because I haven't installed that one yet. Change voice pack Captain Williams. Change voice pack to Captain Williams.
Okay.
Change voice pack Captain... I can't remember her name now. Change voice pack Captain Elise. Change voice pack to Captain Elise.
That's done.
Right, you see that I've got three voices there. I think one of them I haven't actually installed yet, but you see there's three different voices there. Normally they'd be a lot better because I'd be talking a lot louder, but I'm not because it's late in the evening. I don't want to upset my neighbours. So that's initially my co-pilot now. And it's all connected up, recognises my voice. It runs the programs, which is voice to switches. So set flaps position 1. Yeah, I was trying to talk a bit louder. Set flaps position 1. Okay, he's calling me a liar now. Retract flaps. Retract flaps. Change voice back, Captain Williams.
Check.
Retract flaps. Set flaps position 1. Set flaps position 2. Change voice back, Captain Anderson.
Of course.
Captain Anderson. Set voice back, Captain Anderson. Change voice back to Captain Anderson.
Right. Okay. Done.
Right, now, see, because you have to say change voice back to that person, and that's what happens, and it changes. Set flaps position 1. Set flaps position 1. Right, you'll see this will happen in the aircraft when we're in it. I think I may have to reinstall my HCS voice pack, so because I've just updated this to the new version, so it probably needs to really be reset again. Well, I want to try it this way, see if it happens. Reload some loading, setting, key binds, triggers, and all this sort of stuff. So anyway, so that's done now. Now the other one is the Pilot 280C, which is this one here. So we know that works. Okay, it's this is a bit of a light tutorial. It's not going to be really in depth. However, it should be enough to give you an idea of what you can achieve and how you can get it done. If you want me to do video, once I get enough people actually wanting to get a simplified video like my Pilot 280C, the last one, once I get enough people to actually warrant me spending my time making the video for people, I think it's only fair that, you know, I'll put this video out first, and you know, if you want my help, then I'll show you how I get this all to work, so you can go out and spend literally very little money to have exactly what you're going to see in a minute and how it works. Okay, so initially we know that we've got the pilot the voice attack working, and I think they're £9. A voice attack is very, very cheap, £4 or if not free, and the HCS Aviator Microsoft voices, they're on a sale at the moment, and about £9. They were about £15 or something, but they're now £9. So you can just choose one and have one co-pilot. You don't need to have them all, you know. So that's worth knowing. Okay, but we'll get that working in a bit. And the next one is the Pilot 280C. Now let's connect Pilot 280C. Initially, you load the program. You have to buy this program. It's not free, but you buy it. And you can import flight plans, you can do landings, takeoffs, and waypoints, and bloody SIDS and stars, and load them from your hard drive. You can load them into the aircraft that you get into, and also have an air traffic control. So, example, this is the sort of thing you would hear. Figure 8, I've got that there. Ignore battery switch, you can ignore that if you wanted. So you'd have to wait for the battery switch to come on. And you can ignore battery switch. We put them on because they're really handy to not have on, ready to just work. Okay, so let's go to grammar. Press grammar. This is what you'll hear, something like this.
N31 Victor Bravo request departure runway 10 left. N31 Victor Bravo request departure runway 10 right.
Right, so that's like one of the voices. However, there are more voices as well. So you can go to the configure 8 and go to voices, and I've got quite a lot of voices here, which is like this one here, which is the free.
This is Microsoft Hira.
Right, then got Ziran. I've got to set a few of these up yet, but they're free. They're on your.
This is Microsoft George the First will be your ground controller for the flight.
You can turn them up.
This is Microsoft George the First will be your ground controller for the flight.
I'll turn that one up.
This is Microsoft Zira. I will be your clearance delivery for the flight.
What about James? Let's see what James is like. And you can have these like all at different airports.
This is Microsoft James the First will be your third ATC center controller for the flight.
So you've got all these different things. So when you go to different areas.
This is
This is Microsoft Hazel Desktop. I will be your 4th ATC Center controller for the flight.
Okay, let's have David next. So it's just different voices.
This is Microsoft
when you
Hazel
change
Desktop.
from air
I will
traffic
be your
controller
approach controller for the flight
to different air traffic controllers, and the voice change. It just gives that a little bit more of like, you know, realism, if you like. So, you know. But you can actually buy voices. I haven't done it, but I may well.
This is Microsoft Mark. I will be your destination ground controller for the flight.
Okay, so I'm happy with that. So I've got loads of different ones. I can use random voices so the voices actually change and all that, which is really cool. So every time you talk to the air traffic controller, you're not talking to the same person. That just told you to take off, and he's also telling you to land at the destination, which takes the realism away. So you can imagine that's pretty cool. I know that they've done a lot with the flight simulator where the accents change and the voices change, but you just need to be able to obtain those voices to work in like Pilot to ATC, which will be immense because it's a very good program. It's a bit of a headache to get your head around at first when you're not really used to it, but once you do get used to it, it's endless fun. It really is endless fun. So let's connect it up and let's find out why it doesn't work, because a lot of people have gone out and sort of bought this and they, oh, I can't get it to work, and it's a really simple answer. The reason it doesn't work is because you haven't got the right software to conjoin them together, if one might call it. Now if I just go like that now, and if I press on my key on my yoke, yeah, I've got a button set up on my yoke, which to be honest is really supposed to be there to show you really, but I don't know that you can see it anyway, but hey, whatever, doesn't matter. So you're like on my yoke over here, I've got a button on the top and a button, if you see on over here guys, sorry, if you see there, I've got them assigned. Now if I press it, the people think this, if you look on the screen that way, now I'm going to ignore this, I'm only pressing the button on my yoke, and that's how I'm triggering what button I want it to do and everything, yeah, and I'll explain how to do that if you want to know in another video. But so if I open this, go into this situation where I click it, and you see the PTT button, which is down here, if you see my mouse on the screen, nothing happens. Although I've assigned it correctly using the configuration, it just doesn't work. And people say it doesn't work, it's not recognizing it. The reason it's not recognizing it is because it's not connected to the flight simulator. It has to be physically connected, running the flight simulator for all these things to start actually connecting together. And that's where this program here comes into its lifesaver. And I can press that button there, and it will come up on my screen hopefully in a second, and it will, with intensive purposes as it's supposed to do, come up and say that FSUI PC7 by John Dawson. Yeah, now if I press that button now, still nothing happens, right? But if I connect now, because I've opened the FSUI PC7, yeah, now the computer and the flight, the actual system is all interlinked. So if I press connect like that, it will come up, a position in my aircraft could not be found. That's because the flight simulator isn't running, so it's looking for the flight sim already. Now if I press the button, look, do you see what happens? All of a sudden now, as I'm pressing it, the green light's coming on, meaning that it is all of a sudden connected up now. So let's import a flight, which can go into, if you look at my other video of how to import flights into SimBrief and stuff like that, you'll see that that's also doable. So let's just import that flight plan, and let's just go like that, that'll be fine. Okay, and it says the air rack is out of date, but that's not a worry, so not a problem, we did that. Now it's just imported this flight, I don't know where on earth it is, but we did it before in the last, well I did it before in the last video, but like spent hours doing it and forgot to actually press the record button, so I'm trying to do this as quick as I can, but just as a sort of overview of it, not like a deep explanation of how it works. But anyway, so now we're connected to it. That's going to keep coming up, don't worry about it if it does, because that's because Flight Simulator isn't running, okay guys? So now we've got that. Now I can go like to validate my flight plan, and it will validate the flight plan, okay? Once it validates the flight plan, and it seems to have done it, we press the file the flight plan. Now, as we try and file it, it's going to try its best to file, but it's saying not responding. But the reason it's saying that is because we haven't got a cockpit or a flight simulator for it to validate and to file the flight plan to, kind of thing. So it's sort of looking for it and thinking, well, it doesn't work, it's not working, I can't connect to it if it's not there. So I'm going to move again. Let's have a look at display capture. Let's see if I can get this to work. It might sort of help us on my endeavour. That's that one there, that's that one there. Right, okay, so if I put that like that, and exactly what I said, it's coming up on the screen. Aircraft position cannot be validated or something. There must be a problem with your connection to the sim. Way, like I just said, it needs to be connected to the simulator for it to work. Okay, so we'll have to fire up the flight sim now then. So we're going to go in there and I'm going to fire up the flight simulator just like that. It'll take a little while, and I'm going to try and figure out, while I'm on it, how I get that display to actually work. That's display capture there. Is that one? And the display capture is, I'm going to get rid of that one, I think. I hope it doesn't, I'm not really a videographer, so I'm just trying to figure this out as I go along, guys, to be fair, to be honest with you. But anyway, we'll get in there, eh? At least I can sort it out and help you get your things working. Right, so the flight simulator is actually running in the background. It's loading up as we speak somewhere, but it's on another screen, but you can't see it. Maybe I can do it like this. Add a window capture. Okay, and I'm just going to try and find sim connector can't flight simulator. Let's have a look at that one there. That looks like something's happening. It's a black screen to you, but it's okay, trust me, guys. Right, there's a flight simulator loading on that screen now, guys. The flight simulator. So we're trying to get as many things as we can do, as we can get done as at one time. Okay, that's fine. We'll get rid of that for a minute. Okay. Then we can have voice attack, which I just said was actually running in the background. So that's actually listening to me as I talk, like that there, which we'll see if I move it over in a second, put it onto there. So we have pilot, the voice attack's working, it's talking to me and everything. The other one in the other window, back to right, and you can hear it working. It's working somewhere. That isn't actually working, so that one there is that one there. So I'm just going to change that to voice attack, it's fine. Let's have a look. Unknown connection error. Whatever. So we'll start it in normal mode because I keep on shutting it down and everything else and without doing it properly. So we've got the flight simulator down, which is there. Okay. Okay, there must be a problem. Must be a problem. Must be a problem. Okay, and let's let it load up. Okay. So rather we try to do it all at this time of night, what I'm going to say in short and brief for you is you will have with pilot to ATC, you'll have your air traffic control talking to you, and they will sound pretty good. Okay. Your next thing you will have will be your voice attack, which is that one there, and that's your co-pilot. We'll have that running as well. You can have self-loading cargo, which is another add-on product, and that can be running like so, and that all works again with the FSUI PC7. So you press that, or you just go like that, music or whatever else you need, and you know, announcements and stuff, and doors shut and whatever. So you've got all that. So that's 3 programs, isn't it, that you're running? You got the pilot, which is the ATC, air traffic control, which you talk to. You've got your cabin crew, which you talk to, and then you've got your co-pilot, which you talk to. And all those 3 things, for instance, can work together. There is a program. Young guy, sounds like a young guy. He might not be. I've no idea how old he is. Lovely chap, really friendly, and he started another program up, which it's been some time, and he did it for himself originally. So I'm just going to get rid of self-loading cargo because that's payware, and I'm going to go to a freeware thing, which you can go donation, called AirTool, and it's a great program. It really is a good program. I love it. I can't quite get it to work in VR though, which is a bit of a not really a problem. I'm just going to answer this. Hello, I'm just doing a video. Can I call you back?
I'm going to say something.
I
just going through Megan's paperwork when she was born, yeah?
Yeah.
And I just found this here. Aren't you coming to my top dog daddy? Aren't you coming home?
Oh, bless her. I love her. Eh? She's my little darling. Eh? I'll talk to you about it after because I'm just doing a video live for YouTube. So, love you, baby. Daddy loves you. You know that. Have you? Sorry, it's my daughter on the phone. You can all got to talk to your daughter. I'm just doing a video, guys, and for YouTube. So I'll contact you shortly. Yeah. Sorry, it's my daughter. She's lovely. Love her so much. Beautiful kid. Right, okay, so anyway, that's that sorted out. Now on the screen here, you can see this is a program called Luke AirTool. Now this does pretty much the same thing as self-loading cargo, to be fair, but you don't pay for this, but you just donate to get AirTool. It's and it gives you loads of announcements, and it's really a really good program. It constantly works on it, and it's getting better and better as it goes along. So to be honest, I probably won't be recommending something that is payware, because nothing seems to have gone up on it. If I'm not being sort of nasty, because it's a great program, self-loading cargo. I like it. It's a very good program, but it's payware and nothing happens. But this guy does it for freeware, and he constantly works and updates it, and I can't see anything that's happened to self-loading cargo to update it at all in the time that I bought it. So I'm going to recommend that people go for AirTool. It's brilliant stuff. It's a great setup. Listen to this.
Hello everyone. Captain and the entire crew would like to welcome you aboard on this aircraft. Hello everyone.
You can change it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be passing through with food and drink.
And you can have different different airlines as well, which is done really well. You've got British Airways, so you can go like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have just joined us, a very warm welcome on board this British Airways flight. Just a reminder about hand...
And it really works quite well. You can have it on a touchscreen monitor, for instance, by you, but it's supposed to work in VR. I can't get it to work in VR, so I don't know. It's maybe something I'm doing wrong, but I'm not going to be well, it doesn't work in VR, because at the end of the day, for a product like this is amazing. It's very good. So, and it's it's work in progress, and he's constantly working on it. So hats off to him and thumbs up. Great stuff, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, now well into our descent. Go faster, seatbelt signs have been switched on. So if you're moving around the cabin or using the washrooms at this time, we'd ask you now to return to your seats, ensuring any hand baggage you may have moved during the journey is placed either underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead lockers. Your tray tables should be folded away, seat backs in the upright position, seatbelt securely fastened for landing. If you continue to use small handheld devices at this time, however, if you're using a laptop, these need to be placed into a seat pocket or overhead locker.
But there you go. So that's all the stuff that you have in your little flight as you're doing your little flights and stuff. It's really great, isn't it? So, okay, without further ado, let's get very quickly into the flight simulator. Okay, so I'm going to go to a couple of programs. They are actually explained a little bit more in depth on one of my other videos about, you know, how to import flight simulator into SimBrief into your flight plans and all this sort of stuff. But they're on one of my other videos, so if you've sort of stumbled upon me here, you may well find in there that those pilot to how to operate a pilot to ATC made simple, because that's what I sort of try to do. Best I can, they really try and make something awkward sound easy, really, and make it step by step. So that's actually on the program on the YouTube channel, I think, for you. So that might be some help for you. So if you want to learn how to do it, I recommend going and try that out first. And when you access that, then you'll know how to get your flights in and that. So I'm just going to go open them very, very quickly. I'm not going to explain how they work. I'll just do it very quick. This one you need, and you'll also need that one. One is SimBrief from the web page. You register, and then you get this access to this, and you can make your own flights, new flights and everything. But I'm not going to go into depth on that, because I think I do on one of the other videos a bit easier to make it quite easy to understand. So I'm going to just pick a flight. I think we're going to go from there, whatever, nobody, we don't want to stop. I don't know, there's so many airports. I like Cardiff. We'll go to Cardiff. So I'm going to load that up from Cardiff. Okay. I'll keep the past time. That's past time that I flew it. Now what I want to do is, I'm happy with that. It's the right aircraft. That'll be fine. So I'm just going to generate that flight. Yes. Okay. So now it's generating the flight. Don't get confused. It's generating the flight to the flight simulator, because it's not. What it's generating the flight to is to an option that you've got on your SimBrief called a Flight Sim FMS downloader. So when you press generate, it actually generates it to this application. Okay, so now I know that I've just generated it. I know where it is, so I can get rid of that now for a minute, and I come to this one here, and it's just changed at the top there to, from wherever it was before, it's now changed the aircraft and what it is, blah 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 blah, to that. Now if I want that to go into this flight, into here, into pilot to ATC, because we're in Abu Dhabi or somewhere stupid like that, right a minute, somewhere totally opposite part of the world to where this is, so it's good. So we're going to start off in Cardiff. So I'm going to just press the export formats button up here, the blue one, and that will export. Yeah, I'll reverse a little bit. It's imported from SimBrief, and now it's coming to here. Now from here is where you export it to get it into pilot to ATC and all the other sort of readable programs. Some of them they can just put into Microsoft Flights, which is Msfs 2020 there, whatever, and you just put a folder where you want to put these flights, and that's simple as that. You have got others with the PMDG and stuff like aircraft like that below, where you need to put them in certain folders so that they show up under your company routes, and your weather presets will show up as well, and stuff like that. And that's and also your FMC, or your middle management system, like your little radio, GTN 750 flight planner, and that. That's how you want to put them, and that's the places that it will go. And this flight simulator SimBrief downloader, which is loader from the SimBrief web page, it does exactly that. So I press that now, export, and I press yes, and I press close. That's done now. So I can actually go into the top corner and get rid of that now. Now, how do I get that to go into pilot to ATC? So that works, eh? What we do is you go to that one there, right, and you go flight import, and it will give me my number. I don't care, you can have that if you want. And this is the ARC is not correct, but all of a sudden the flight that we originally had was from Cardiff EGFF right up to EIDW, which is Dublin, I think. So that's my flight plan up there. Now if I want to change the flight plan at the end, or when I put in an approach, you come across here and it says standard arrivals and standard approaches there. So you can go set yourself up with a star, for instance, like that one there. SIDS and stars. You can choose which runway you're going to come in at. Probably going to go in on that one. Let's have to zoom in a bit. We're going to go into where we're coming from, that way, from Isle of Man. So we're going to go that way. Oh no, we could, it really doesn't matter really, does it? Let's have a look. The star, let's go from that star there, that's our star. So you can do that. And there's Dublin's, and they go around like that. Yeah, standard arrivals and everything else. But you can also do your, if you stop at and you're not really interested in doing that, you can do an approach. So you press the approach, and it's giving you the approach at Dublin, that one. So standard arrival, which approach we want. An ILS runway 10, that sounds okay, we'll load that up then. And then we'll have a star as well. We'll see what happens. See if we can get one of those to work. Something like that one there, just pick one for argument's sake. Runway 10, standard arrival. I've got one there, that gives you that one at 10, and maybe you want to use that one there, which goes around a bit like that to go to Dublin, gives you a bit of a skew-if thing, or maybe you want to use something different like that one. It's a bit longer arc for you to follow to go into your standard arrival. We might do that one there, which is all over the place really. Okay, so let's go back to that one. Looks quite good. Okay, we load that. Now that's now imported into your air traffic control, and that there, and he's saying that now he's contacting ATC for me. He's a good lad, eh? He's a good boy, that one. And he's doing what he's saying, and he's hearing my voice, and he's saying exactly that was my co-pilot. So now we've got that. So okay, we're happy. So let's go how to figure out move pilot ATC out of the way just a second, because we've done it. I'm going to come back. We are going to go into the flight simulator now for a minute, and in the flight simulator I'm going to go under the world map. I'm going to go onto down the bottom of the world map here where it says space more. Click on more, and then it says space load save. Press on that. Now at this point, this is where when we, if you can rewind the video just a little bit, or go and visit my other video on how to import your flight plans. This is where you save your flight plan. Okay, so wherever you've saved your last flight plan, it will be in there. I always do it this way because it's easier. If you open and put your flight plan in this one here, yeah, in pilot to ATC, then it gives you your destination and your thingy all in the side here. So if you happen to think, oh, where was I going? I've forgotten now. You can go in here. You know it's LGFF and it's going to EIDW. Okay, so that's it. So then what you do is you load it from your PC. And then it will come up with a folder view like this, which is, you know, pretty much what on earth is that? Well, that's for it's where you save your flights. So I know I put mine in a D folder under new flights, ironically under new flights again, and then it will give me the top November the 22nd at this time at whatever 9:40 p.m. and I double click that, and now what it'll do, if it looks like magic, it pretty much is really. It's given you a relatively close approach, but let's try and see if we can get the right one. I think it's the Maxi VORs, runway 10 right, was it? It's pretty close. I'll just ignore that. Yeah, I'll ignore that. But the reason I say I don't ignore that is because I didn't put it onto that flight plan. I could save that now, which I probably will do, in fact. I'll export that, and I'll export it to new flights plan. Yeah, here, and I'm going to call it EIDW, and then here. Okay, I'll export that quickly like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back again, and I go to load save, load from this PC again to the folder where I put it, under there and under there and under there and all that, to where it comes up. And I'm looking for the one that November 22nd, and see where it is. EDFF to EIDW, and what time is it now? 21st at 9:40. So I'll try that one then. Let's see if this works. Yeah, now it's pretty much the same route as what it's got, but it's just giving me a different approach on the wind. But don't worry about that, because the main concern you want is to make sure that your flight routes are pretty much the same as where you want to be going, because you're not going to be using this map. Well, you shouldn't really, because you've got pilot to ATC here giving you all the directions now, right down to your descent, right down to your turn and onto the landing. which I'm going to put on the right screen there, sorry, because I'm actually showing you something you can't see. Yeah, so you've got the flight underneath. It gives you a rough idea, yeah, of the flight. I could export that flight, which would probably be a good thing to do. So let's go save that to EGFBB file. Let's put it under, yeah, let's put it as a, click to save it there. I'll do that, and I can export it also as to there. As an EDA, right, export Citizen Stars and approach. Export. And we'll try it again. Load from this PC. New flight. New flight here. On D drive, Robert. There. On to the last ones I did, which were there. FFEW 940. That's pretty cool. Okay, we're going to use that one. I'm not going to say any more about that because the actual guide is there. So we'll start the flight simulator up now. So what we've got, I can get into that. I'll show you how to do that later. It's only a couple of things I've got to change for you, but hey, it's okay. So we've got now the route there, and we've got the pilot to ATC there. We've got our co-pilot here. Who's going to put him over there. And we've got flight simulator here. Okay, guys, we won't move because it's installing and loading at the moment. But so what we've initially got, we've got the three things that you really wanted, and we've also got this one here as well, the cabin crew thing. Yeah. Okay, so it's looking pretty damn good, isn't it? We have it all working. Well, we have it all there, and now hopefully we will go back to the pilot to ATC while that's loading. And let's just validate the flight, yeah, which has validated it. It's going through at the moment. Then we'll fly planet. File the flight plan. Sometimes it will just load the flight plan up for you and it will be lovely. And other times it won't, because it wants to know that the aeroplane's at the right place. So a good idea, sorry to go over this, is sometimes just to connect it, disconnect and reconnect it. So then it's actually looking for the connected to simulator, and it recognizes the simulator's there, and it loads the grammar. So then we should be able to validate the flight again. We can even file the flight. When it files, normally sometimes if it's connected correctly and everything's handshaken really correctly, and the flight simulator is running, normally you'll hear oh, that's the actual flight simulator ATC. I sometimes leave that on because it's quite fun to have a bit of one telling you to do one thing and one telling you to do something else. You know, it's quite fun really. So if I just go like that there, sorry, I'm going to wait for it to load up. Right. And I should really change the aircraft because this is not the aircraft that I should be demonstrating this really with. But anyway, what we'll do is we'll just put it up like as normal, like this. And we'll put the aircraft state at ready to taxi, and that should in a minute be all lovely. That's it. Now, other issues that you might get when you get things that don't start up. Now there is a thing on the Logitech website. If I can try to show you my video to capture, I'll show you that somebody may have had this problem. If you get this problem, let me know, please do, and I will endeavour to try to help you with that as well. Which is that one there. So we'll see if I pull that out of the way, and this one here out of the way, and there. Put that there, and move that one there. Right, there's my cockpit. As you can see, just appeared on your desk. Everything else is buzzed off. You might notice now that it's, if I talk to air traffic control, which I'm going to just endeavour, because I've already got like 3 screens. I'm trying to put everything on here for you, so it's all kind of like understandable and seeable. I say that here, and I've tried to navigate, and I've tried to file it, so I need to try again and fly it. But please file. Okay, so it's getting really difficult for us. It's not making us that easy. But then again, it is an aircraft, so I suppose we really should learn to do what we need to do properly, yeah? And that would be normally under the frequencies. So you need to find the frequency of the airport that you're departing from. Now we're departing from Echo Golf Foxtrot, which is Cardiff on here. So you can click down to the frequencies there, and it will give you the frequencies of the air traffic control and everything else. So let's talk to EGFF Tower on 13310. Okay, I can double click it and it will change, but there's a reason I don't want to do that. Is I want you to see on this screen, which a lot of people get this problem with their Logitech things, and they don't sort of like work and stuff. Yeah, so let's have a look and see what I've got that you can fix that with. Okay, right, so get back into the screen a moment, and I'll move that down like that. Now on the top here, as I go up, you'll see a little blue icon. It's that G, that blue icon there. If you see my mouse, guys, if you look at the side of the screen, I'm going across to the middle to where the radio frequency 1332 is. I'm going straight up, and I've got a menu drop, and it's got like this G, and that's the Logitech. It's a Logitech Microsoft Flight Simulator plugin. So if you search the Logitech website, you get this program. It doesn't work as well. It does work really well. It's not programmable, I don't think, like SPAD is, but it does. So if you press that, in theory, what should happen when you get in the flight simulator is everything should turn on as you get into your flight sim. So that's okay, and that's the normal sort of process into getting it working. But like I say, nothing in life ever runs so sweetly, does it? As much as you'd like it to, it doesn't always run perfectly. So you can look at that and you can try again. It's already running, but it's not actually working. So that's where you get another program which is worth trying. It's one called SPAD, which actually does work and can help things. Like I said, this is probably not the best aircraft I could have chosen to actually do this, because it's not one that I use all the time, so I haven't really set it up to work. There's an update. I suppose I might as well update it quickly. I'm just updating that on another screen, so it's now running the updater for SPAD. Now this hopefully, guys, will turn on our alleged missing radio panels like this, because it's running, and now it's already scanned them. And now, believe it or not, they are starting to work. This one is an issue, but I'm going to show you how to fix that issue as well. When your multi-panel doesn't come on, the LED lights don't work, there is a fix to it, so we can do that. So let's, okay, context flaps. Let's put those throttles back, because we're going to blow this aircraft up, aren't we? And I've got my headset there, which you don't need. Right, so let's get back into the correct screen so you can see what's going on. You need to see the right screen. Bear with me 1 second, please. Right, so okay, flight simulator, there's a cockpit all working in the background now, so that's good. So we tuned the radio 13310. So now we need to make sure that when I say 13310, which should be set down the bottom of the thingy, down bottom right corner there, it should be the active 31 Victor. And let's see, am I connected? Let's get this connected quickly. Go to push buttons, enable, select there and save, which I've done under this buttons, to set, and then just click on the button and save it. Hopefully that should work now. Okay. Right. Just going to open that a bit so I can turn off that config file button. Well, I've turned off the config. I'll go back in. All I did then, guys, was basically press that because it was inside my screen, guys, that's all. So I've turned off the config. Now, 31 Victor Bravo ready to copy. That's okay. So that's the air traffic control. I can hear that a bit in my headset. There is a way of turning the volume up on that, which I will come into at a later date for you, because I'm still trying to figure out the easiest way of doing it. You can use an extra plugin which actually boosts the volume up, or you can go into your voice settings under your configuration under sound, clearance delivery. There's ATC files you can put in, proper air traffic control files. You've got voices here and you've got your volumes there, so I don't know which one that was. He's only down to 32, so it's a good idea to turn all these up and then they will be louder. So some of the ATC towers, voices are not set very loud, so you can't really hear them very much. But that's the way, the easiest way I can figure out doing it at the moment, is set them all to 100%. Like that. You can do it master volume, set all random voices up to 100%. Volumes, display random voice assignments, I suppose. I don't really know about that. Do we do into that? Yep.
This is a test of the radio system.
Do that.
Tuned to Cardiff Tower on 133.1.
So we know that sounds okay
This
now.
is a test of the radio system. You are tuned to Cardiff Tower on 133.1.
See, it tells you we're on tuned into. So now it can hear me. So I'll say Airbus 31 Victor Bravo, ready to copy IFR clearance.
31 Victor Bravo is cleared to Echo India Delta Whiskey. Climb via the BCN-1A departure, then is
Okay.
Expect departure runway 30. Climb to flight level 130 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 8 minutes after departure.
Okay, so I'm going to move that out of the way just a second. Now see all the information that's coming down the bottom. That's what I've got to call and write down normally. But the thing is, with this other program, which I'm going to show you. So let's start this. Okay, so we've just asked for clearance at the airport. The thing you see, we've just asked for clearance and ready to taxi. So we're going to put that on first of all, and that'll be going on in the background as we're about to start our flight. So we're just now getting ourselves set up ready for the flight. So we're going to open another program, which is a remarkable program which this guy is, this company or whatever they are, have opened, which is really good for virtual reality. So we open this Sky for Sim, and the server started, which is cool. Now you can have this, refresh it, in theory, and it's loading up now, right?
If you are seated in an emergency,
so let's imagine that we've got 3 monitors all set up, load of monitors set up, and we've got this put on another monitor, or even in VR, guys. This actually works in virtual reality as well. So if I just shut her up for a minute, so you know that's working. We've got your air traffic control now, because I've just spoken to them. November 31 Victor Bravo, ready for taxi?
31 Victor Bravo taxi to runway 30 via taxiways Charlie. Alpha, approach short runway 30.
As you just said, he just said to me, taxi to runway 0 via Alpha, Charlie, Alpha hold short, runway 03. Whatever. Now if that's too much for me to say, I can set up a button on my joystick, again by going to the configuration button there, and then I go to the BTNS button, and I go joystick, say it says somewhere, say it hotkey, hey, which one is it, my eyes are bad, hotkey, that one there is the joystick button for push to talk, which is done, and the say it joy button. So I'm going to just go set, and I'm going to press a button on my joystick and save it. That's okay, that's done now, so I now get out of that. Now rather than me have to say that, I'm going to press that button, and it should in theory say it if I've done it correctly, but I don't think I did. Okay, push to start, joystick button, okay, oh sorry, enable, set, alpha dial, that one there, and save. And hopefully now that's worked for you guys. Okay, maybe it's not. Maybe sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. We'll come back to that later, because I'm sure it does. Probably me doing something because I'm tired. But anyway, so it doesn't matter too much at the moment. So we've got the air traffic control, as I said. I've got this other program here, which is real fun. So you can have this in flight simulator as well. So you go to the sorry, pilot to ATC. So you go to the configuration part, and ATC settings, go along, ATC settings, go again, we'll find it in a minute, voices, speech. There we go. Under the speech thing, if you go down, there's a folder here, says conversion text to file speech. There. So you basically put in a folder point wherever you want to put it, name it the same as what's on the screen, like your flights, whatever you want to call it, and conversation text. And you do that and you set it. And what that means is when you do a conversation, in theory, yeah, which it does actually work in VR. I've not tried it out of VR before, so it's a new idea. Maybe it's actually designed just for VRs rather than for this. I've never tried it, so please don't hold me to it. I just want to see what happens. 3-1 Victor Bravo, ready to taxi. There we go. See that?
3-1 Victor Bravo.
Now that's just come up on another monitor, rather than being in this text down the bottom in this little screen which you can't see on the flight simulator. This website here, this application, it comes down and you've got all this information and you've got that little bit, and trust me, that is really, even with the big monitor, it's really small to see. But with this new Sky for Sim NG, that one's coming onto the screen, it connects up and you can have it on a separate application. But the separate application that it runs is so useful that you can actually have things like the map on it. You can also have VORs and NDBs and, you know, all this information that people need to do for their normal flights and stuff. You can show all that information on this, even down to the weather, which gives you an idea what the weather's doing. So it's a really good application, and being able to use that, I mean, you literally would put that on an iPad on its own, on a side of your thingy, of your, you know, if you have multi-window cockpits, you would obviously put that somewhere right by you, so you can actually zoom in, and it gives you the DME only frequency for the SWZ intersection, or like the PB&P that gives you the range, and it gives you your VORs and the DMEs to this point right to down to there. It gives you weather, it gives you waypoints and headings and ranges and all this sort of stuff, and weather reports at certain airports. If you go into an airport and you don't know where you're going and you think, oh, I'm going to run low on fuel, you can actually look at this map, which is also, I might add, a moving map, which means that you can I'll open it bigger for you so you can see that you can literally say, well, I'm going down, we're at Cardiff, nearest one airport is probably going to be up there somewhere, isn't it? Or is there one round here? Which way am I going? I don't know. So let's go, say, I think Bristol or whatever is over this way, the DME 11340, and then you could look it up. So you could look up the airport name at the same time, zoom in like so, and it gives you the terrain like a Google map type thing. So Echo Golf Victor Alpha is an airport. So as you zoom in, it gives you the information of the airport. So you can find it's Echo Golf Golf Delta. That's Bristol, isn't it? Bristol, yeah. So we're in Cardiff at the moment, and we want to go change our flight. We want to go to Bristol. You just zoom in and click on it, like so, and you know it's Bristol because it gives you the code, EGGD. So then you can go into like you're there, and it gives you all the information, who's buying whatever, an M5 and all this sort of stuff. But you could also go into this part and go to the airport, put in the code, which is all shown in VR as well, EGGD, and press that, enter like that, and now I've got the ability to show in the weather. It's sunny, it won't be in real life because it's dark at the moment. The runway is 09, which is the runway frequency 110.15, and the frequency to the other ILS frequency is 118.15. Either way, I know 927 is your radio, and then you've got your information there, your ATIS, your air traffic control tower, ground frequency tower, and air traffic information service. And then you can go like that. ILS identifications, you've got an beacon ident there, a runway, a frequency, a heading, which way you should be heading, a glide slope and a pitch of 3, a range of 27 miles, and a back course, yes, which is available. You've got ILS DME 1127, same thing, gives you the ILS frequency 110.150 or 110.150. It's going to be the same because it's a reciprocal end, each side's reciprocal. So that's how that works out, just on that program alone. So if you've got that in VR, you pretty well, one might say you're pretty comfortable to say that you've got pretty much everything when you do this and you talk 3-1 Victor Bravo, ready to start up. Then you do it, well, ready, 3-1 Victor Bravo, ready to taxi. Then it should come up on there once it's done. But we did that just now anyway, so I'm not going to go back into that right now. There it is, just popped up via no taxi because I'm not really speaking very clearly. And now I can bring up the air traffic control, whatever they say to me in ATC, which is actually also now available wonderfully in VR. So I can have a little screen really close to my eye, which I just look out on the left hand side, and then I can see the relative information. So I hope that's been of interest. So let's just try it. You know the air traffic control is working. Yeah, because I've just spoken to them. So let's just try it, yeah? Set flaps, position 2.
Flaps 2.
Now hear that? He just set my flaps to position 2. Saddest thing is on this actually particular aircraft, because it's an an aftermarket thing, I think the word is, I can't remember what they call it, an add-on. Some of the actual things don't work, so the flaps leave it there. Set flaps 3. Set flaps position 3.
Flaps 3.
See, it says it, but it doesn't do it because they're not assigned on this aircraft. But it does work with the stock aircraft, so that's worth knowing. It doesn't really work with these aftermarket ones, but I'm sure that's going to be something that's going to be changed. But if you like me and you fly the A320s and I mean a lot of the little aircraft, it seems to work on them. It's just a couple of the really, like this, the Aerosoft one, it doesn't work. Some of the things it does work on the PMDG, but it doesn't work on all of them. So that's just a word of warning. If there's something you get into, it can be a bit frustrating because they don't work on some aircraft. But to be honest with you, when it comes to the stock aircraft and like the A320 Airbus, and there's a lot of aircraft in there that everything works perfectly fine. You tell them to set heading 250.
Setting heading 250.
Now it's actually worked on my, which you can't see, and this is just to prove to you, so it gives you a little bit of enlightenment, one might say, that in the cockpit here, if you look at my cockpit in front of you on the screen, set heading, you see that number, which you'll see in a moment. My hand needs to come over it because it's all mirrored. See that set heading 115. So they call me a liar now. Set heading 115. Have I turned it off? Set heading 270. Now it's calling me a liar because I've gone out of the screen. Sorry. Set heading 240. Now it's calling me a liar. Okay, I'm not going to say nothing anymore. It's getting late. But yes, it does work. And the headphones, if you look at my head, you can see that they're actually right up in the air like that, so I can see, because I'm using this as my microphone. And to be honest, that's probably the reason why a lot of these things aren't working properly, is because my microphone is right up there and I'm talking down here, so there's not really recognising it. So retract flaps. Let me just bear with me a second. I'm just going to retract flaps. Set flaps position 2.
Flaps 2.
Right, so you can hear me. That's my co-pilot. Air traffic control.
ATC.
He's opening a window now for air traffic control for me. If I ask him if I've got this set into the right screen here, which I'm going to move for you, like so. Bear with me. I'm trying to do this all on one screen, or two screens really. So if I go into there and move that out of the way, that one there, just a minute. I don't really need that. I'll put that there, like so. There you go. Now, if I click in here and I've got in my air traffic control thing here, I've got this open, that little bit there, and my mouse is in the right screen. Display air traffic control. Some aircraft it works, some it doesn't. Close air traffic control.
Closing.
Air traffic control.
Putting you in touch with air traffic control.
Right now, I can open my air traffic control. Normally that does open on some of the aircraft, but it's not working at the moment. So you can see that it's a good program, but it's not faultless. You know, I'm not going to big it up and say it's faultless, because it really isn't. It does do things like this. But unless you use a different aircraft, and then it sort of things work remarkably well. So it's a bit of a pick and mix, really. Now that I've opened it manually, watch what I can say. Right. Okay, good day. Read back correct. Runway 30, blah blah blah. Yeah, contact Manchester Centre on 118.77. So I'll contact Manchester Centre on 118.77 for argument's sake. And let's tune it on my radio. 118.77. Like so. Now, if I was using another aircraft, all these things would be working in the cockpit, and all the radio frequencies would be working, and everything would work absolutely perfect. But they don't actually work faultlessly in these aftermarket aircraft. Manchester Centre, 31 Victor Bravo, ready to copy IF for clearance.
31 Victor Bravo, contact Cardiff Tower on 133.1 for IFR clearance.
See, exactly what I just told you. Absolutely brilliant. Cardiff Tower, Airbus 31 Victor Bravo, ready to copy IFR clearance.
31 Victor Bravo is cleared to Echo India Delta Whiskey. Climb via the BCN-1A departure, then as filed. Expect departure runway 30. Climb to flight level 130 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 8 minutes after departure. Approach on 119.15. Squawk 6230.
Set transponder 6230.
That's affirmative.
Now, you can't see it, but over there on the other screen again, gosh, it's so much fun. On this one here, it's actually changed my transponder to 6430. And it's set on my proper thingy up there, 6340. Or 6230, sorry, it actually says, and that's what I told him to set it at. So we know that works then. So he's set my transponder now. Set flaps for takeoff. Right, set flaps for takeoff. Now we're going to go back into this. Now, what she just told me, I need to read that back. Now, can you imagine if you're doing the flight sim, and you know, guys, how really it can get really sort of like busy in the cockpit, even though it's only a simulator. But like this, when you've got all your buttons to switch and everything else, and you really feel like you're flying, okay? And then you've got to call back all the air traffic control tower and speak to them. That's where this program, which you will see on the screen here, with my mouse going around the circles, comes in really handy. Because it then tells you if you want to, you know, if you feel that you want to do the all yourself kind of thing, then you can just read back what it says there. So you key your joystick, as I'm going to show you in 1 second. Get back in here. It's got so many screens, it's so difficult with this. Well, it's the only way I can do it really, is try to show you how it works. So I'm going to turn the camera just a wee bit that way, and now you got, oh, that'll be the opposite way, wouldn't it? Here I am, yeah, it's just reversed, isn't it? Right, this is my mouse and my button I'm keying, so I'm going to key my microphone there, which is on the front, or I can press the one at the top which I've assigned, which is say it normally. So I'm going to press the I'm going to read that back. 31 Victor Bravo is cleared to Echo India Delta Whiskey. Climb via the BCN-1A departure, then as filed. Expect departure at runway 30. Climb flight level 130 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 8 minutes after departure. Approach on 119.95. Squawk 6230.
Read back incorrect.
Now,
3-1 Victor Bravo cleared to Echo India Delta Whiskey, maintain flight level 130.
See, I made a mistake. I didn't read it properly, but that's good. Be back incorrect. So you say 3-1 Victor Bravo cleared to Echo India Delta Whiskey, maintain flight level 130.
Read back incorrect. 3-1 Victor Bravo cleared to Echo India Delta Whiskey, squawk 6230.
I did get the squawk right, but I'm tired anyway. I'm just going to show you there. Anyway, that is pretty much how it works, and it would work a lot better if this wasn't right on top of my head and it was actually on my eyes, or if you've got a good headset with a good microphone bent like that. Don't get these ones that are like their side of your head. They're no good. You need the microphone that goes around to the front of your mouth, and then Pilot to ATC, Voice Attack, and all these programs actually really work very well. But if you don't use them and you haven't got them, well, you can forget getting them to work properly, because they just simply will not work. Here's an example for you. I'm going to show you of a not to buy. Looks really fancy. It's got great sound. It's got that stupid microphone there which you can't really see. That sticks out the side. That microphone there is not worth it. My mouth comes out here, so I'm trying to talk and the sound doesn't come out my cheek. It comes out my mouth. If you're 7, that will be fine, because your mouth will be there, but you're not 7, you're a grown up. These are stupid, waste of money, don't even bother them. £14 worth of junk, because you never use that as a microphone, because it just doesn't work very well. It's not powerful enough, it doesn't hear you, you can't turn them up. So our survey says don't buy anything like that. Spend an extra 20 quid, spend £35 and get yourself one with a microphone that comes around to the front of your face where your mouth is, and you won't get any of these issues like I'm getting now. The issues I'm getting them is because I'm not putting the microphone, which is right up here, I'm not putting it by my gob, which is down here, so my sound is going out that way, where it's supposed to be getting picked up by the VR headset. So there's a couple of little tweeters for you, little tips if you like. I hope this video has been helpful to some people, and if you need any help, like I say, I don't mind doing the videos now. I'm doing it because I love doing it. I love Flight Simulator, and but please do visit my site and put a thumbs up, because after ill health I'm back sort of on my feet again, after being screwed over by the DVLA and stuff like that. It really, you know, destroyed my life and my business and left me virtually, well, they did leave me basically with any money that I did have just to try and survive on. So I've been working a little bit and struggled through to do the job, and actually now I've relaunched my business again now, so hopefully now we can start looking for brighter futures and stuff like that, and everybody can enjoy my cockpit and have as much fun as I do with it. So like I say, hope you've enjoyed it, and if you need any questions about Pilot to ATC or any questions about how to get it all set up and working correctly, that's not a problem. I'll do my best to help you. I'm not saying that I'm the oracle and I know everything, but I've been doing this for 20 odd years, and it's all a new system really, but a lot of these little plans and things, they do sort of like, they all sort of come together in the end. You start getting your head around it, and you know, same sort of fixes and config files and all this sort of stuff does help. So, and there's another file there as well, so that's that one there. So, and we also got Pilot to ATC, which is that one there. So we've had pretty much a load up of getting those three lovely things working nicely together, which is great, which is basically the plan that I had. So this time it sort of sped it up a bit quicker than I was going to do it. but like I say, the last time I did it, it took me about 3 hours, and trying to get it all, you know, absolutely spot on correct to get it working, and then I realised I hadn't pressed the record button. So hopefully this has been a good one for you, and now you've got some information how to get Pilot to ATC, Voice Attack, Sim, Fly for Sim, Sky for Sim NG, and above all, that other free program, which is that one there, which is AirTool as well. Get AirTool as well. So you got all those really good little programs to have, and obviously the voice attack, which is giving you co-pilot. So you've got pretty much everything there. So hopefully that's give you a bit of push and you would like to do it. And you know, let me know. More comments I get on this, the more chance I get of doing the video and doing it what I call idiot proof like myself, because I'm not the brightest guy in the world. I'm no millionaire, and I'm not certainly not the most cleverest bulb in the box, my friends. So coming from me, if I say it's going to be pretty simple to do, it's going to be pretty simple to do, and sort of, like I say, I guess the word is user friendly rather than, you know, rather than hard. So anyway, like you say on the screen as I go, let's just expand that a little bit like so for you. And the panel you see in front of you, if I may, just while I've done my little bit for the day, is called the mycockpit.co.uk or BK Cockpits. Basically, this is a an alpha SATEC, they're not SATEC, they're alpha dial and Bravo throttle quadrant. The cockpit you see in front of you is actually designed for the SATEC, not for this particular cockpit, but it is available for both. So therefore, normally the cockpit would be further forward and it would go around the circumference of the arches of both of those, and then the cockpit comes further forward. But also same thing with the flight simulator. If you go to my website, you'll see one on the video which is set up, which is pretty much this one set up, but with the SATEC, and it's got joint throttles, joint throttles and quadrant. That bit there you see on the right hand your right hand side is double radio. It could be anything, any two units go in there, and it has the SATEC throttles that you can connect to it. So you can do a cheaper way of getting it all sorted out for the enthusiast that doesn't want to spend as much money as the Alpha, Yoke and Bravo throttle quadrant. You can do it with a SATEC and two SATEC levers like that, and just change your levers, and then you've got like your throttles and you've got your mixture and you've got your thingy and everything else, but they'll actually be here. And I've set it to supported at the moment, so that's one way. The monitors are actually just iPads, which I think I've said before. There is a program I use for that, and it's called Space Desk. Sorry, it's a bit loud, I'll say that again. And there is a program called Space Desk which you can share those, and these products I think I explained a lot on my website or on other videos, but they're all there, they're all interchangeable. You can have 3 monitors. That monitor there could be actually in the middle there, so you can have like a PMD or whatever PDM or whatever they're called. You can have a 3 screen monitor, or like the Caravan's got 3 screens, so you can have 1 screen there, 1 screen there, and you can have one of those there come down here for your radios, so you've got your radio panels, and you can have an extra radio panel thing like that if you want, which just connects to the other side. And you can have, which I'm working on at the moment, it's a unit which goes to the bottom of the Bravo throttle, which comes out with the radios. So you know, when you've got the throttle quadrant there, then you can see it, but the throttle quadrant's there. I'm going to have a unit that comes from the bottom of that, goes out like that, slight to 10 towards the co-pilot, going to come out like that, and it's going to come back. So you can have your 2 radio panels there, so then you can alleviate this space up here where the 2 radio panels are, and have another yoke, so you can have like 2, a pilot and co-pilot. And well, the thing I found very hard with doing this was try to make it a happy size. I have got one in the corner of the room, which is what I call the king size one, which we're now going to discontinue because I thought bigger is better, but I will be honest with you, it isn't, because once I am sat sort of here like that and I'm flying the aircraft, if I want to reach over, that's really about as far as I want to be reaching to reach something, to tune a radio. And when you think of a pilot and an aircraft, it's duplicated half and half, isn't it? So you've got this half and then you've got the other half. And the reason it's set up like that, like is because you don't want to be doing that. You want everything to be within a sensible distance, and it's duplicated for the co-pilot, so the co-pilot can do the same and reach everything, and everything works. And this is the most ergonomic, I think the word is, way of doing it, where everything is at reach and everything can be seen, and you can reach over a little bit if you want to get to the co-pilot side. and you want to put throttles or put extra levers there, like for like a tri-lander or something, you want to put them, you can put them on the top, because there is room under the top here to, if you want to, add those and screw them on that way. So you can have like tri-lander levers there, like the tri-landers have got the pull out, or you can get the other ones that do the pull out and use them as pull outs and that. But there's so many versatile ways that I've set this up, and all you need is, as I'm going to show you, is really simple little add-ons, which are, you know, are relatively cheap for the purchaser. Like, here's what I have here. This one here, you can see it's all pre-cut and designed and drilled, and gaps in it. So when it all goes together, yeah, you put your, in this particular case, this is designed for the those there, the throttle levers from Logitech. And if you can see all the holes designed, they're all drilled, so there's 2 units that go together. The holes are perfectly set out for the size where the cables come out. Even down to the back here, there's a gap at the back which is made sure that it fits, that you can put 3 USB 2 cables through. Even if you forgot yourself and tightened it up, there's enough room there for it to fit through. So obviously this is going to be perfect there on the back, but it's also going to be perfect onto the cockpit panel. So it's got to fit perfect into the panel as well. So if you wanted this to be that side, it also means that this panel needs to be cut exactly right there and exactly right over that side, so you can do like I've done here, have it sort of either or, get a middle on it or each end. Chances are your pilot's side is always going to stay the same, so this is going to be the different side of things. And that's the way that goes. And in there, if you can see at the top, I haven't got any to demonstrate, but they're cut out perfectly, and in there is a panel which actually fits in like that, sits into this, where you can put your radio panels on top like that. Okay, and there's also another option that you can have which sits into there again, where your iPad will sit in. So your iPad would fit and sit into there with the space around the outside equidistant right the way around, so it looks really nice and neat, and it'll be enough to put your iPad in at the front and still have your levers. So you've got the choice if you can swap it around, and it's only little extra units that you buy to change these things. So they're not going to be, I think, what, £4 or £5, I think one of them is, to do that. But the complete unit setup is a bit more expensive. But like I say, the more people that actually jump on board with this and assist me, put the word out, get the cockpit sold, get them sold yourself. Special offers, I'll put special offers out there. The more I sell, the more I will be able to do discounts on the extra things. So to just get the panels moving first of all, so people can start with just a panel like we're looking in front of us. Then the add-ons that they want to turn that from that into a monitor. If you can imagine, you wanted to put an iPad on there, well, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to realise that iPad is not as wide as that, so there's going to be gaps each side. Yeah, but I've already thought of that. There's a panel that goes on there and screws on and extends out, so then you can just put a monitor or an iPad on there. You with me? So that sorts that problem out. But it's only a little bit of a panel that's cut and precision cut with all the holes where they need to be, so that everything fits, and you just take them out very, very quickly to change if you want to. That is the whole concept of it, is sell the cockpit dashboards, then I can make more of these items like this along sell them as a package with everything, or offer really, really good prices and cheap prices for all these extra add-on units that you can add to your cockpit. Another little concept I'm working on as well at the moment, it's the cockpit at the moment, it is set, as you see, it's just the cockpit, and it stops in the corners there. Each corner it stops, but I want to get a cockpit so that I can actually have an add-on where the cockpit actually fits to the back and then goes around the side. So you then go, you start the cockpit from there, and you've gone around the side, a bit like for argument's sake, if I look on the, if I brought that back onto your screen, like so, like there, and if I bring that onto the screen, like that, and I'll show you, try to explain to you what I'm sort of getting at, really. That one there, but back in there. Ooh. Bear with me once I know what I'm doing, maybe with my big mouth. Like that. That one there. That one there. Get it in a minute. I'm getting tired. Anyway, you get the drift. From this corner of the cockpit over there, or sorry, over here, instead of it ending, it will come around like that at an angle and come back. So you could have like one desk, 2 desks and 3 desks, and you give you a bit of an enclosure to come round to the side, and then you could put your monitors above it. So it just gives it all that enclosure, and then the next step above that is, because it's all precision cut and professionally built by the guy, a friend of mine. He's a very good friend of mine now. He started off as a business associate, and he's become a very good friend, and very, very clever and very helpful. And I point these ideas out to him, and we sit down and try and figure out a way of doing it. And another nice number would be to have it up there. So you've got your monitors there, and have something in the future that freestands on the desk connected to the cockpit dashboard, that goes up above you and gives you like a window feel like that, but enables you with enough room to put a monitor above your head, maybe a touchscreen monitor like that one there, to go above your head, so that you can have your touchscreen monitor above your head and press your buttons to change your switches in the 737 and whatever. So all these little ideas are great, and they could happen, but unfortunately, my friends, you need, I still, friends or not, I still need to be in a situation so I'm able to pay for the designer, and you know, when something, you build it and it doesn't work, it's quite expensive to replace to redo it. If it doesn't work, it goes in the bin. It's just, you know, it's lost money, it's dead money. I can't sell something that's not correct, and or it doesn't line up, or something's incorrect, or one little mistake. So it's a headache, but it's a good headache, because I'm the only person or the only company now, if you like to call it that, little one-man band, that in the whole of the UK that actually builds a cockpit dashboard for the prices that I'm doing. If you were to go and buy one from the UK, I mean, I bought one just from America to try it out. It cost me, ended up working about £600. It was this cockpit dashboard. It looked nice, sort of thing over the top that looked like a cockpit surround, but the actual rest of it was just really cheap, tacky plastic, and it was basically something to hold it in. It wasn't like, no, it wasn't very good at all. And you were stuck with the way it was, and that was it. You know, it was a Cessna dashboard, and that was it. This could be a 747, 737. It can be a Learjet. It can be, you know, virtually every aircraft that's on there. You can pretty much do it, along with extra programs like Air Track and stuff like that, or Air Manager and stuff. You can actually change your monitors into being like analog monitors and stuff like that. Or you can also run, because this is so easy, you can run those 3 monitors separately like being iPads, and you can run a program, for instance, like, which I do use quite a lot, to be honest, which is that one there, which is the G1000, and you can run the G1000, so it doesn't take up so much of your power, if you like, because I run a G1000 on a map over there, so I'm not running it from the computer, but you can still have the option with the 3 monitors to have exactly the same screen that you've got on your screen dragged into these extra monitors without needing the extra monitor inputs from your graphics card. So anyway, I'm gone on a bit long enough, and I hope that's a bit of an insight into my plans before I you know, depart this lovely world, if they're going to call it a lovely world. So I want to leave something for my children when I'm gone, and hopefully a nice little business will be good. So God bless you, and may God look after you all, whatever religion you are, and enjoy life. Because remember, it's nice to be important, but it's far more important to be nice. And I look forward to seeing you at the website robkmusic.com is my music website if you want to go and listen to me singing, because that's my hobby as well, or mycockpit.co.uk or bkcockpits.co.uk. Thank you very much. God bless.